What's up guys, Mark back here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to do a time-lapse with your Fuji camera. So first thing this morning, I got an email from a guy named Dave, and he's from San Francisco. He says, I was curious, have you done a time-lapse on the X-T2? I am new to the X-T2 and I'm experiencing serious flickering in aperture priority for sunrise, sunset, and any scenes that involve light changing. I'm coming from the Sony a6300 and I have the time-lapse app, and there's an AE tracking option so the camera could adapt to the light and change and eliminate the flickering. Well, Dave, I have done time-lapses on Fuji cameras before, and I happened to do one for you this morning. While all cameras are not specifically built the same, you can achieve very similar results, only you might have to do a little bit of tweaking here and there to get the results that you're looking for. Whenever you're doing anything technical with your camera, I always suggest doing it in manual mode. That way you are fully in control of your camera and you're not relying on any software whatsoever in order to get your job done. Not to mention, once you learn your camera and how to use it in manual mode, you never have to rely on software ever again. So first things first, take it out of aperture priority mode, set it to a aperture that's going to capture your entire scene, change your ISO to the cleanest native setting that it's available, and also if you're trying to capture wide landscapes or a lot of changing light, set your shutter to something below 1/100th of a second. But just remember, if you're going to shoot that slow, you might need an ND filter in order to compensate a bit. So as far as my settings go, I usually try to use the lowest native setting possible on any camera. That way I don't introduce any noise and it is actually a native setting. And when choosing your aperture, try to choose one that's a bit wider. When you choose one that's wider, you have less chance of the aperture interfering with the light while it tries to adjust. So pick one that's going to get the same depth that you're looking for while at the same time not getting in the way, causing that flicker. But then again, also don't forget your metering mode. Whether you leave something on automatic or you do fully manual, I always try to choose something that's going to meter the entire scene. If you choose one that's more center or spot based, you run the likelihood of altering the light and causing flicker. Okay, now let's set up your camera so that we can do a time lapse. Hit your menu and go up to the camera icon on the left. From there, we're going to choose interval timer shooting. I like to usually, if I'm doing a sunset or a sunrise, I like to start off with a 10-second interval. And as far as the number of times, I just leave it on infinity so that I can decide when I'm done. Once you do that, you can just hop on over to next and you can set how long you want to wait. But I usually don't do that. I just go ahead and begin right away. Okay, so you've taken your shots and you're ready to go. You bring it in, you hop into your editor, and you import all of them into your favorite editor. In this particular case, my case, I love using Final Cut Pro 10. I select all of my images and I import all of the pictures. Once I do that, I grab all of the ones that I took, I drop them down on the timeline, I highlight all of them, and then I set each of their duration to 1 frame. Not 1 second, but 1 frame. So for every second of footage that we're going to have 24 pictures in that second. And once you're done, you can go ahead and play back your sequence and see if it turned out the way you had hoped. As you can see from this time lapse, I played it back, and because I took full control of my camera and did it in manual mode, I got absolutely no flicker in my time lapse. So mine's nothing to write home about, but it just goes to show you that when you learn your camera and you take charge, you are able to control what happens inside your camera. So to sum things up, always shoot in manual, try to use slower shutter speeds, usually less than 1/100th of a second, and try to use a wider aperture. The wider your aperture, the less chance you are going to have the aperture blades getting in the way of the shot and inadvertently changing the look of the light. But if you find yourself still wanting to use aperture priority mode, don't forget to set your automatic shutter, use the lowest ISO setting natively that your camera supports, and also, again, do not forget to set your metering mode to either wide or full frame. That way it calculates the light based on the entire frame and not just a small portion of it, thus changing the overall lighting, potentially introducing flicker. So this video is not comprehensive. There are a lot of other uses and techniques that you can do, including software, but I try to steer away from that as much as I possibly can. If you guys have any tips or tricks that you would like to share for doing your time lapses on your Fuji cameras, don't forget to drop those down below. At any rate, thanks for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again on the next one. Peace.